What if the biggest thing shaping your life right now isn't what you believe? What if it's what your nervous system has learned to expect? I've been noticing this in my own life, actually. I can know exactly what to do and still find myself reacting to the same old patterns, the same old way. I can know I'm safe and still feel like something is about to go wrong. And I've started asking myself a harder question. What if I'm not just experiencing these patterns? What if I'm practicing them? I've caught myself doing it in really ordinary moments. Something doesn't go the way I expected. A text comes in, something feels uncertain, I'm tired, something happens with my family. And before I even consciously decide what I'm going to think about it, my body has already responded. Tension, rushing, overthinking, trying to solve something that hasn't even happened yet. And it's easy to say, that's just how I am. But what if that's not who I am? What if that's what I've practiced? This is where neuroplasticity gets really personal. You know, we've talked about how the brain changes through repetition. But your nervous system doesn't just learn skills, it learns expectations. If you repeatedly respond to uncertainty with panic, your system gets better at anticipating danger. If you repeatedly respond to discomfort by escaping it, escape becomes the automatic response. And if every uncomfortable thought sends you into your phone, work, food, or something else, your body starts learning discomfort means I need to get out. And that's the part that really hit me. Sometimes we're trying to get rid of anxiety while we're accidentally practicing the pattern that teaches our nervous system anxiety is dangerous. And that's a completely different way of looking at it. And I think we miss this because we're waiting for the big moment, the breakthrough, the transformation, the perfect routine. But your nervous system is being trained in tiny moments all day long. You're waiting in line, you're driving, you're waiting for someone to text you back, you're frustrated at the gym, the grocery store, you're lying in bed thinking about tomorrow. You're having a difficult conversation. Those moments don't seem important, but the repetitions. And repetitions become patterns. I've seen this in my own training. When you're doing something physically difficult, eventually your body starts saying, this is enough. And sometimes it is. You need to listen to your body. But sometimes what you're experiencing isn't danger, it's discomfort. And learning to stay present with discomfort without immediately fighting it or escaping it, that's training. You're teaching your system, I can feel this way and still be okay. But let me stop here, because I don't want you to turn this into another thing that you're failing at. You don't need to regulate yourself perfectly. You don't need to control every single thought. And you certainly don't need to become calm all the time. That's just another form of pressure. The goal isn't, I should never get activated. The goal is, when I get activated, I can practice a different response. And that's where change begins. There's a little space between what happens and what you do next. Sometimes it's tiny, but that's where your freedom starts. Something happens, your chest tightens, your thoughts speed up, you want to react. And instead of immediately obeying that reaction, you pause. One breath. Feel your feet. Look around the room. Let your shoulders drop. And ask, am I actually in danger right now? Not, how do I make this feeling disappear? Just, am I safe enough to choose my next response? That little pause matters, because that's the repetition. That's the practice. You're giving your nervous system new evidence. So here's the path. Don't try to transform your entire life tomorrow. Find the next tiny moment where your old pattern normally takes over, and practice something different. When you want to rush, slow down. When you want to react, pause. When discomfort shows up, stay with it for a few more breaths. When uncertainty appears, don't automatically create a disaster in your mind. And when you fail, don't turn that into evidence that you're broken. Come back and practice again. Because you're not trying to become someone who never gets triggered. You're becoming someone who knows what to do when you are. And over time, your nervous system gets evidence. I can handle this. I don't have to run. I don't have to react. I can stay right here. And that's how something begins to change. Not because you force yourself to become different, but because you practiced a different response enough that your system recognizes it now. Maybe that's what we're really doing here. Not becoming somebody completely different. Maybe we're teaching the body that underneath all the protection, we're still here. You don't have to fix yourself today. Just notice the next moment and practice. That's how we heal. That's how we grow. That's how we become the evidence. If this helped you see yourself a little differently, like the video, follow, and subscribe. And if you want something that's practical to start with, check out my 5 free daily practices to regulate your nervous system guide. And if you want to go even deeper, there's the Full Armor 21-day method. The links are in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.